Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We have been doing some questions in control and coordination. For all the lessons in class 12 explanation, you can visit the channel playlist. English and Malayalam are given separately. And questions class 10, if you check, you will find extra questions in physics, chemistry, and numericals in physics, etc. So without much ado, let's start with the first question. Vijay's neighbor had moved on to some other location. He notices a pot lying in his neighbor's compound. Which type of tropism did he observe in the fallen pot? Diagram is given. You can see that the root is growing towards the ground, that is towards the gravity, positive geotropism, whereas the shoot is growing away from it, that is negative geotropism. So here this is a classical example of geotropism. Observe the figure given below. Which kind of tropic movement is indicated by the pollen tube? We know chemotropism example itself we are studying the growth of pollen tube towards the ovule. Next is the image of a neuron. After our nose smells a substance, which option shows the mechanism of traveling of sense in our body? You know that dendritic tips are the receptors for receiving the smell. Then it will be passed through the cell body, then to the axon. Through the axon it will reach the axon terminal. So the receptors present in the nose for detecting smell are olfactory receptors. So olfactory receptors at the dendritic tip of a nerve cell will give it to the cell body. So option B you see, olfactory receptors, dendritic tip of a nerve cell, it gives to the cell body to axon, then axon, there end of the axon what happens, release of the signal, and it will be received by dendritic tip of other nerve cell. So here option B is the correct answer. Select the incorrect statement about insulin. So insulin is a hormone secreted by pancreas which helps in decreasing the blood sugar level. So it is produced from pancreas. Of course, it's a correct statement. It regulates growth and development of the body is wrong because its function is to regulate the sugar level. It regulates blood sugar level and insufficient secretion cause diabetes. These are all correct statements. So option B is the incorrect statement among all these. Now next question is again about a insulin only. A doctor advised a patient to take insulin injection because. So whenever there is no insulin secretion or less insulin secretion from the pancreas, the patients will experience diabetes. In that they may have to go for insulin injection. So what could be the answer here? His sugar level in blood was high or he is a diabetic patient. Option D is the correct answer. Organisms depend on hormones as well as electric impulses for the transmission of signals from the brain to the rest of the body. What can be a likely advantage of hormones over electrical impulses? So, we have a question on limitations of electrical impulses that we discussed last video. So, please visit that and learn that answer correctly. Iodized salt will help in the proper functioning of. We know our thyroid gland needs the iodine for its proper functioning, and if iodine is lacking in the diet, these patients may develop swelling of the neck, that is called a goiter. So here the answer is option B, thyroid gland. Changes occurring in boys and girls during puberty are due to. During puberty, sex hormones start to secrete, and here the male sex hormone is testosterone secreted from the testes, and female sex hormone is secreted from the ovary, that is estrogen. So here the answer is testosterone and estrogen. Stem elongation in sugarcane can be ensured by spraying. We are talking about plant hormones now. You know, sugarcane is a plant where we are taking juice from the stem. So the longer the stem, better the juice content. So in that case, we need stem elongation. If you spray auxin, it can increase the height but at the tip only. If you want internodal elongation, the hormone used is gibberellin. Here the correct answer is option D, gibberellin. Hormone that helps in growth of the plant. So here auxin is the hormone that helps in growth of the plant. Basically growth fast, auxin is the one. Now we move on to some descriptive questions. Sheetal was chopping vegetables while watching television in the drawing room. Suddenly, she smells something burning and sees smoke in the kitchen. She rushes out to the kitchen immediately. Was Sheetal's action voluntary or involuntary? Sheetal's action is voluntary because rushing out to the kitchen was a conscious, controlled, or voluntary action. The smoke and smell were perceived by specific receptors in the sense organs, and signals are sent to the brain, from where signals are sent to the effectors. So, it is a voluntary action. An old man is advised by his doctor to take less sugar in his diet. Name the disease from which the man is suffering. So he has already high sugar level. That's why he is advised to take less sugar. So he is a diabetic patient. Mention the hormone due to imbalance of which he is suffering from this disease. It is insulin secreted from the pancreas. Which part of the brain gets affected by alcohol? You know, cerebellum or the little brain is affected by alcohol. How are brain and spinal cord protected? Why these organs are carefully protected? Brain is protected in a bony box, we call it as cranium of the skull, with in which it is contained a fluid filled balloon or meninges. It provides shock absorption. Spinal cord is protected in a hard bumpy structure called the backbone or the vertebral column, passing through the middle of your back. Because these are delicate organs which are so important for variety of functions, so they are well protected. Write one example each of the following tropic movements. Chemotropism, we already discussed the movement of pollen tube towards the ovule. Geotropism, growth of the plant roots. Sometimes we come across people who are either very short or dwarfs or extremely tall or giants. Name the hormone and the gland responsible for this. You know, growth hormone is secreted by the pituitary gland, and that is responsible for the undergrowth or the overgrowth. Mention the function of this hormone. What will happen if there is deficiency of this hormone? Growth hormone regulates growth and development of the body. Excess growth hormone in childhood leads to gigantism, whereas deficiency can lead to dwarfism. How do electrical impulses travel from one neuron to another? When electrical impulse reaches the axonal end of the neuron, it sets off the release of neurotransmitters into the synapse. What is synapse? The gap between two adjacent neurons. These neurotransmitters enter the dendrite of another neuron to set off electrical signals in that neuron. This is how electrical impulse travels from one neuron to another. How does auxin help in the growth of the tendril? Auxin is plant hormone which is synthesized at the tip of the shoot. It helps the cell to grow longer. When a tendril comes in contact with a support, auxin stimulates faster growth of the cells in the opposite side. That is why the tendril forms a coil around the support. Hope you understood these points. For further explanation and details, please visit Biology My Passion. Thank you for watching.